now. It's time to get unmasked. Please welcome your host, Pamela Elaine Nichols and Cheryl A.S. Haley.
Hello. Welcome to Unmasked Real Talk Live. This is a place where we get real about topics not often discussed authentically. How you doing,
I'm doing
Cheryl?
good. How are you? I love that flower.
Thank you. Courtesy of my duo coach, Cheryl Hurley. The topics we choose support our goal to help you feel better, look better, and live better. Today's raffle prize is, I think, a very special raffle prize. It is quality time coffee and conversation about your self acceptance journey with the dual coaches, that's Cheryl and me. Next week, we have a very special guest, Brita
Yes.
DeBress, known as the Jump Start Queen, who will talk to you about jump starting your weight loss journey when you are stuck in the middle.
Mm,
Yeah, Cheryl.
that's going to be awesome. That's going to be absolutely awesome. Well,
Speak.
today we're so excited to introduce today's topic, which is the power of authentic self acceptance. Now, there's a quote that says, "Embrace your authenticity as a guiding star on your journey to a better life. It's the compass that leads you to greater joy, deeper connections, and the truest version of yourself." Now, we live in a world that seems often obsessed with perfection and conformity. Accepting yourselves for who you are can feel like a radical move, right? Truth be
Right.
told, you may not even like many things about yourself, making conformity and perfection worthy goals. Today,
Mhm.
and each and every time we come together, we want to challenge you to embrace all of you, your good, the bad, the ugly, as an act of radical self love. Why?
Mhm.
Because embracing your whole self will bring you fulfillment and happiness that you think conformity and perfection bring. Think about the
Mm.
many times you criticize yourself, how you look, what you bought, what you said to
Mhm.
someone, your weight. And you don't want to miss next week because we're going to talk about the weight, but your weight, your intelligence, your money, and your friendships. Chances are you reject parts of yourself more than you accept parts of yourself. Mm. What
Mhm.
you may not realize is that you are perfectly and wonderfully made. Who you are in all aspects of who you are is what? It's wonderful. If you start from this place of abundance thinking rather than scarcity thinking, you will get unstuck in work. You will get unstuck in life. You will get
Mhm.
unstuck in love rather easily. You will become AP. Now, ask me, what does AP stand for? Authentically powerful. Was there
Ooh,
Right, it don't isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome?
yeah.
Was there ever a time when you felt you could be totally yourself, holding nothing back, not pretending you are who you are not? I'm gonna repeat that. Not pretending you are who you are not. Think about it. Do you remember how you felt? Most likely you felt really good. Science reveals that authentic self acceptance is a crucial driver of personal happiness and more profound connections with others. When you accept your whole self, not part of you, but your whole self, you become magnetic, drawing people towards you because they see and appreciate the real you. We know what you're thinking. We can hear you right now. We can hear you right now thinking if you accept your whole self authentically, you might get rejected. That's the real fear. But what if the
Mhm.
opposite occurs? You experience more
Mm.
acceptance in ways you never thought could be. Is it possible? Just think about it. Is it possible that you are already experiencing rejection because you are not living in authentic self acceptance? The fake you
Mm.
isn't attractive to the very people you want to find
Come on
attractive.
now. Come
It's
on.
that's a mouthful right
Come
there.
on.
Rejecting your whole self has a flip side that causes host of inner and relationship problems. Low self-esteem. Do I have any witnesses? Stress. Do I have any more witnesses? Anger, depression, missed opportunities. That's a big one right there. And strained relationships. You only need to find the courage to accept your true self, and courage is yours for the asking. And Pam, as we just kind of shared that and we just kind of talking about it with our audience, what were some thoughts that were coming up for you as you just listened? What was coming up for
Mm,
you?
that was deep. I was thinking about the question you asked,
Hmm.
when go back in a time, or when do you remember when you felt fully and completely or your authentic self? And I remember very clearly when I felt I could be my authentic self, and that was in relationship with someone. And that was my best friend in fourth and fifth grade.
Hmm.
I loved me some Paula, and I
Oh,
know Paula loved me. And I just felt so free to play and to laugh and to be silly and hang out at her house and she hang out at my house. I mean, just there were no constraints. I didn't have to pretend. And here's the thing, Paula and I were
hmm.
very different looking. So Paula was the very fair skin, long blow hair. And here
Hmm.
I am, the dark girl with the coiled hair, tightly coiled hair. But I just felt so free to be with her
Hmm.
until she betrayed me. And then I stopped believing I could be my authentic self. I
Mm,
felt that I had to pretend
yeah,
to be somebody I wasn't, because that rejection, that
yeah,
betrayal was so incredibly devastating to me
yeah,
that I didn't get over it until I was in my 40s. And I've and once I realized in my 40s, and I'll never forget the day that I had a revelation about that experience. I was in the shower and I
hmm.
started crying, remembering the
Wow.
profound betrayal, and only to conclude that Paula was never really my friend. Although
Mm,
I felt I could be my true self,
that's real
she
talk.
really wasn't really my friend. But I got to experience what it's like to be your true, authentic, unencumbered self. And
Hmm.
then at 40, in that crying episode in the shower, I started down the journey of trying to understand, who
Hmm.
am I? Who am I
Wow.
really? Can I
Hmm.
stop pretending that I'm light skinned with long hair too? Because I ain't. And stop trying to fit in because I won't. And
Hmm.
that's become sort of my quest to always find the
Yeah,
truest version of myself so that I could live freely, fully,
yeah.
happy, satisfied without having to apologize for that. And it hasn't been easy, but it
Mm,
has been. I have a place where I'm good. I'm
yeah.
feeling good about who I am.
Oh,
That was a long answer to your very short question.
but the thing about it, it was so necessary because I was listening to you, and we've talked about Paula in terms of that experience. So I appreciate your sharing it. And when I even think about the question that I posed to the audience and your response, it made me think about, and I value friendships, particularly those friendships that are God orchestrated and divinely connected. And you're one of those. And I remember when we talk about hiding, or we talk about because of those painful experiences that we kind of hide behind. You're asking me so many years ago, Cheryl, do you have any problems? Because I could dress it up and just look like everything is all good and have problems. And you asked me that question. I'll have to say, in all truthfulness, that that was the beginning of a process of me beginning to see the value of walking in my most authentic self. Because sometimes when we go through things, we hide behind it because we don't want to be rejected, or we don't want people to think there's something wrong with us. But when you talked about turning 40 and that process beginning, when you asked me that question, it began a process. And I'll say, in my seasoned years, I am
Mm,
comfortable with who I am, unapologetically so, but it was a journey. And every time something might come up, whether it's betrayal or whether it's some situation, I have that. You afforded me an opportunity just to be who I am. And if I'm not
mm,
okay, I can unapology because I know I'm not okay, and be okay with that without feeling like
mhm.
there's something wrong with me. So, it is just so important. The power of authentic self-acceptance, accepting ourselves at every season, every stage of our life is just so important. So I
Yeah.
appreciate really appreciate your asking me that.
Yeah, yeah. And oh well. Yeah, because I was enamored. I was like, wow, I've never met anybody who just is always happy, always seems to have it all together, always nice. I'm like, who is this person? Because I want to know what her secret sauce is. And one of the things I think is important for all of us to recognize is that being our authentic selves
Yes.
means that we have to accept the things about us that aren't so lovely and beautiful. And no, we're not always smiling. No, we're not always happy. No, things are not always good. And you know what? Sometimes we have some thoughts that may not be all that, we'll call it holy for those of us who like
Hmm.
that term. And
Hmm.
that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Because if you reject the not so wonderful aspects of you, you really are rejecting all of you. Because there's
Yeah.
no one on this earth
Hmm.
who has it all together and is always on point and is always perfect. There's just nobody like that. And who wants to be with somebody like that anyway? The truth be told.
Not me.
Who? Not me. I mean, not really. Not really. Not when we're talking about being your authentic self. Being your
Right.
authentic self, self acceptance is what we're talking about. We're talking about accepting all of you, not just part of you. I think it was last week I introduced the book, The Upside of Your Dark Side,
Yeah. Yeah.
accepting your whole self, not just your good self.
Yes.
Because that being able to accept your whole self, the good, the bad, the ugly, like you pointed out in your
Hmm.
introduction,
Hmm.
really is the thing that makes us feel good, even
Yeah.
when we're by ourselves, that makes us feel good, even when we're in a crowd of people, that makes us feel good, even in relationships. And here's the person I want to be with.
Come
I
on.
want to be with the friend
Hmm.
who loves herself or himself,
Hmm.
even when they're not being their best self. That's the
Come on.
person I want to be with.
Exactly.
Who the
Because
person I
there's
want to hang out
because there's no pretense. What you see is what you get. And one of the things when we talk about woundedness, oftentimes people are wounded by people who showed them only one side of themselves, but they didn't show them the other side. And when the other side showed up, it was like, oh my God. And it's nothing wrong with just being your most authentic self. People appreciate that.
with.
I just
Mhm.
you just shared because it's so powerful. But you know what? It just kind of leads us into our unmasked question because every week we come together, we're going to have an
Oh,
unmasked
okay.
question. The
Okay,
question
let's do it.
week for conversation, you could put your responses in the chat is what new and wonderful opportunities might you have if you were to practice authentic self-acceptance? I want
Mm.
what new and wonderful opportunities might you have if you were to practice authentic self acceptance? Talk to us. Tell us.
I
Pam,
love that
isn't
question.
that a good one? Ooh.
That's a good. I like the question because it is a positive spin to what could be a difficult experience. Of
Mm,
authentic self acceptance can often be a difficult experience, but this is a really good question. Let
yeah.
me think. What new and wonderful opportunities might I have if I were to practice authentic self acceptance? Mm, well, I might I might be able to uh well, you all know me by now. You know how I come, I come with the same theme,
I think
which
I know
is
what it's gonna be, but I'm just gonna wait and for.
you know where I'm going, right? Um, you know what? I'll say this. I'll say that I may be less willing to dismiss a relationship or a friendship if I practice regularly authentic self acceptance. So I said earlier that I've come to a place where I'm good with myself, but there are times I am not authentically self accepting myself. I am authentically rejecting myself. And if I'm going to be honest with y'all,
That's good.
when I'm in that space, I tend to at least rehearse in my mind how I'm going to let this friendship go or this relationship go because it is not serving me. And I think that if I were to practice authentic self acceptance in that moment or even in that season,
Mhm,
I may be less inclined, I may be more accepting of that person's
mhm,
shortcomings, which is the
mhm,
thing that makes me say, I'm so done with them. Um, if I'm more accepting of my own self,
mhm.
I would be more accepting of them and less inclined to, all right, I'm done. I'm done. That would be my answer.
And you know what? And it's a very real and it's a very authentic response because, similarly, I would tell people that when we talk about, and it's funny that you talk about relationships, I could be the first one that when you talk about the person who betrayed you, for example, I could be the one that I could clip you just like that. Done, done.
Mm,
But what happens is that, and I don't want to over spiritualize this, but I remember that I could just do it so easily. And I just remember when we talk about self acceptance, I remember that small, still voice saying to me, in your stuff, and your flaws, and your shortcomings, did I clip you? I was like, oh,
mm,
and it was really convicting
mm.
because it was so easy. We're talking about real talk. It was real easy. Do one thing,
Yeah.
done. I was just done like that.
Wow.
And when you said that, it's like I felt led to share that because it's real easy to let go of something when we're wounded. But what about the stuff that we might do to people, unbeknownst and knowingly? But what
Hmm.
happened, I was challenged with even a higher challenge. But what about the stuff you've
Yeah.
done and I didn't clip you? So who
Mhm.
clip people? And I could just do it real easily. But again,
Yeah. I'm
comfortable in
surprised to hear that.
oh
I mean,
yeah.
I know you, but I'm surprised to hear that because that that must really have been an old Cheryl. Because in my, I don't know how long we've been friends, almost 30 years, maybe. Uh,
Hmm.
Um, yeah, that I've never experienced that of you. Or maybe, hey, maybe you thought I'm a clip her.
No, no, it
Maybe you
was
did. Maybe you were gonna clip me.
no, no, it was early on, but again, when we talk about journey, it was a journey. And I want, because we never want to come, and that's one of the things when I think about when God connects you with people, He connects you with the right people. And Pam has I praise God for our relationship, both personal as well as business, because there's something that like she brings out the best in you because she shows up as her most authentic self. And it's like you
Mm,
can't be fake around her because she gonna come for you. You cannot be fake around her. And one of the things that I'm sharing, and I feel led to share this, is because there might be people who are struggling with stuff that they've done. Like I used to do that. I used to be the person that I could see you in the same space, and you could be
mm,
talking to me. If you did something, you were non-existent. I didn't even see you. I
mm,
didn't acknowledge you. That's how. But guess what? When we talk about being our most authentic self and owning the things that we've done, I have to own that. But it was that
mm.
process I had to go through. So what happens on the flip side of that, people might say she's very tolerant. I've had to learn
Yes.
that.
Oh, really?
Accepting
Wow.
what my shortcoming was allowed me to become more tolerant of other people. Yeah.
That's, see, you just hit the nail on the head. You
Yeah.
becoming more self-accepting,
Yeah.
which means in this particular case, more tolerating of yourself,
Mhm.
helped you tolerate like that's the key here. And I
Mhm.
would encourage everyone to think about like what rubs you the wrong way with someone and where you may not show up as your authentic self. Ask
Mhm.
yourself, is there something within you
Yeah.
that is triggered that you might need to work on or elevate or improve upon or accept about yourself so that
Mhm.
you can be in a different kind of relationship, a more positive relationship with that person. We have some comments here. Oh, wait, I love this one. Someone said, "Oh my Lord." Oh yes, we going there. Yeah, that is so true.
Read all of
We have we have someone who said, yes, I
it.
need to use my voice more often instead of being stepped on and used by being silent. Okay, that's an interesting take on that. Yeah. Um, And I want to know if you mean use your authentic voice um, when you say use my voice. And if you mean authentic voice, what does that mean? And why are you letting people step on you? I want to know, girl. What?
We want to know
Yeah,
that.
we want to know what's going on with that. And then, wow, I never knew that, Cheryl Hurley. What is this? Yeah, right. It's just, it's surprising. Yeah, I agree with them. But I'm glad to know that because it really shows, Cheryl, how
Mhm.
much you have really moved from that place. It is because I don't experience that of you.
Yeah.
I've never have. So yeah, this is great. Let's see if we can get to our wait, what's next? Our raffle. I
Well,
feel like
before
I've lost my footing.
what happens is that we have
Oh,
one more comment to your question, and then we want to give our
oh,
takeaways. The
oh,
response to the
oh.
question was, "My authentic voice would not tolerate a lot of things that I do now." Mm.
Oh, yes, my authentic voice would not tolerate a lot of the things that I do now. Uh, um, so what I would be curious about our friend here, thank you for engaging with us,
Mhm.
is to what degree do you accept yourself? To what degree do you accept yourself, your shortcomings? Because I wonder if at times you really over criticize yourself.
Mhm.
You find what's not right
Mhm.
more than you find what's right. I'm just curious. No judgment. I'm not
Mhm.
imposing anything upon you. I'm just curious. Just opening up the conversation since you're so willing to be authentic with us here. Thank you so much. She
Mhm.
says, I've always been shut down and ashamed. I see there it is. We were on it, Cheryl. We were already on it.
Right on it.
Okay. Yeah. So what we hope, yes, and someone else says, I always over criticize. They're not even just criticizing, they're over criticizing myself. And we want to know, our
Mhm.
listeners,
Mhm.
is why do you do that? We see that you do it. We get
Yeah.
that. But why do you do that?
Mm.
What is it that you're saying to yourself that you are willing to criticize yourself and be hard on yourself and not be your authentic self? Why is the question, right? If we can get to the why, we can uncover a whole lot of stuff. And here's what we're going to guess: there's something that happened in your past
Yeah.
that was a negative experience. You bring
Absolutely.
it into your future and it drives your behavior. That's what we're gonna wager. And we hope that you get the raffle because we need to the raffle. We hope that you're picked because we might have to do the raffle twice. Uh, um, I'm harder on myself than anyone else. Yes, darling.
Mhm. Mm.
Yes, we
Yeah.
we totally understand that because we've been there, done that. And one of the reasons you're probably hard on yourself is because there is an expectation you have that you should be a certain way, or maybe somebody imposed this expectation on you. You should be a certain way, you should behave a certain way, you should have already accomplished this or that, and you're comparing yourself to others, and comparison is the enemy of good and growth.
Look at their response. I know my why, and I am now at the point where I know that I matter. Well,
Woo!
right there. That right there. Send up the hearts for that one right there. The key
Okay,
is
so
knowing.
yes, yeah, and so we're going to challenge this person who went there. I know that I matter. Prove it.
Whoop.
Prove it in your actions. I'm a push. You got on Unmasked Real Talk Live, so Cheryl and I just go there. And if you were in our course, our Think Again course, you would really be experiencing us challenging you to rise higher. So if that's true, prove it. Your actions will demonstrate that you know that you matter. All
That
right. And then you need to come back to us and say, here's how I'm proving that I know that I matter. And we go applaud you and lift you up and pat you on the back and hug you. Okay. So do we have time for one more?
we need to read Catherine's response. But what I'm
Oh,
going
okay.
to say is the person that you put the question to, they already know. And you said prove it. They said thanks to my counselors. And we can leave it at
Oh, Oh,
Thanks to your dual coaching. Okay, your coaches. Love it. Love it.
okay, so Catherine, from childhood, I've rejected. I was rejected from birth. I overcriticized myself to be accepted, so fearful of being friendless.
Mm.
Ooh, Catherine. I'm feeling like sure I'm having a visceral response to that really raw,
Wow.
vulnerable statement.
Yes. And what we want to do is give our three
Mm,
takeaways to the authentic, to be more authentic and self-accepting,
yeah,
self-accepting. And then after
yeah.
that, we're going to do our raffle because we want to get to, because we got 3 minutes. We got 3 minutes.
Ooh,
Catherine, we hope there is something in here that you will take away and connect with us because whoo, that right there, I'm
connect with it.
feeling you. Yes, I'm feeling you.
Yeah,
So I'm going
we
to
can
give
unpack that. Okay,
we can unpack this.
okay.
So we have 3 takeaways that we want to give you to being your most authentic accepting self. First thing is practice self-compassion. Start by treating yourself, that's the you, with the same kindness and understanding you would offer to a friend facing a challenge. Be mindful of your self-talk and replace self-criticism with self-compassion.
Mm. And Catherine, rehearse positive affirmations.
Yes, yes,
Create a list of
yes,
positive affirmations that resonate with you and say them out loud regularly. You need to hear yourself saying it, okay? These
yes,
affirmations can serve as reminders of your worth and potential. For instance,
yes.
I am deserving of love and acceptance, or my worth is not determined by my mistakes. Over time, these positive reminders can overwrite self deprecating beliefs.
Yes, yes. And the last one is avoid comparison. With the
Mm,
prevalence of social media, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparing yourself with others. Remember that everyone is on their own unique journey, and comparing your lows to someone else's highs is unrealistic and it's unfair. Focus
mm.
on your own progress, personalize it on your own progress and the things that make you unique. Now, today's raffle prize is quality time, coffee, and conversation about your self acceptance journey with the duo coaches. So now I'm
Yeah.
going to spin that wheel. Juanetta,
Okay.
congratulations.
Yeah. Coffee, quality time. Uh-oh. Quality time, coffee, and conversation. We will reach out to you so we can schedule that. We want to
Yeah.
make sure you bring your coffee. And you know what? I'm gonna be on the East Coast where I know she is in a few days. So maybe we can all get together. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, we gotta wrap this up, Cheryl. Join us for an upcoming live webinar. Well, we will unveil the 7 crucial steps to embracing yourself fully. We don't have time to tell you all the stuff in it, but let me tell you, it's good because Cheryl Hurley is going to lead that workshop. Go to www.executivebeauty.net/live webinars, live webinars at our website, and you will find Cheryl's upcoming webinar. Click on it, join, because it's today at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, next week we have a very special guest, Brita DeBress, known as the Jumpstart Queen, who will talk to you about jumpstarting your weight loss journey when you are stuck in the middle. That's when we sometimes give up, right in the middle, but don't have to. She's going to talk about that. And we look forward to seeing you next week at our regularly scheduled time. Bye.
Bye.